You know what your flights cost. You know what your hotel costs. But do you know what your trip will really cost? For many travelers, the answer is no. By the time you add in the less obvious and often overlooked expenses such as airport transfers, baggage fees, and souvenirs, your vacation can end up costing hundreds or even thousands more than you expected. Most travel budget spreadsheets have one thing in common: they're designed to record what you've already spent. They're expense trackers, not planning tools. That's useful once you're traveling, but it doesn't help you answer the most important question before you book your trip. Can I actually afford it? That's how this travel budget and planning tool can help. It's forward-looking and helps you forecast the complete cost of your trip before you commit to any bookings. Whether you're deciding between two destinations, comparing a 10-day itinerary with an epic multi-week adventure, or trying to determine whether upgrading your hotel still fits within your budget, the planner lets you easily see the financial impact before you spend a single cent. Let's get started. I'm going to walk you through all the important parts of this template. The budget planner is available in both Excel and Google Sheets, and you can see that for the most part they look and work the same. Only the currency exchange calculation is different. Right now, I'm on the Budget tab in the Google Sheets version. Scrolling down, you can see that this budget planner is split into 3 sections: pre-trip, the trip, and return. This prompts you to consider all the costs for the different aspects of your trip. Going back to the top, this is an area where you'll input some base information. Let's say you want to go to Paris next June with a friend, with maybe a short trip to Marseille. While you'll be sharing accommodations, all the other costs in this budget will apply only to you. Type in the number of nights you need accommodation for here, the number of people sharing costs, and the amount that you think is a reasonable cost for this trip. This is not the budget number, it's simply what you think you want your trip to cost. The work in getting to your budget is still to come. Let's start developing the budget. The first thing you want to do is to go down the list of costs and click Yes for the ones that apply to you. You know about things such as hotels and flights, but then there are the forgotten costs that might be relevant, and maybe others that you need to look into some more. Click Y for these too. Now it's time for the fun stuff. Let's start to cost a trip. We'll begin with the ETIAS fee. This is an entry fee required for Europe starting in 2026. It's mandatory and costs €20. I'll use this to demonstrate some of the tool's features. Go to the row called Entry Tax, Europe ETIAS, and scroll across to the Do I Need column, and then click Y. Keep scrolling to the dark blue column under Local Currency and type in Euro. Notice how the cell in the column called My Currency turns gray. This is to remind you that you need to put an amount in here. Now let's look at how to get the €20 charge into a different currency using the currency converter at the top, which connects to live data. First, go up to the gray box on the left and select the country or currency you're converting from, which is euros. You can select Eurozone or the name of the country, either will work. Next, in the box beside, you'll select the name of the country you're converting to, normally your own. We'll select Canada. Then type 20 into the darker colored cell on the bottom left. The amount of 32 is returned, telling you that €20 will cost you 32 Canadian dollars. Go down to your budget and put 32 into the gray cell. It's so easy. The Excel version takes a couple of extra steps because you need to access an external currency exchange site. It's still easy but takes a little bit longer. Detailed instructions are included in the Excel version of the budget planner. Next, complete your budget using the column D filter to select only the Yes items. Type the costs in where you know them. Some might require some research, for example, determining the entry fee for museums in Paris. Now, check your numbers by pressing the little triangle in column C and sorting by function. This isolates things such as all your flight or rental car expenses and highlights charges you might be missing, or costs that don't apply to you after all. Finally, check all the No cells as well to see if you might have overlooked something. For example, when you arrive in Paris, you need to get to your hotel, and there could be a cost for this. Or if you book a tour, it's a good idea to tip your guide. Be sure to capture these associated items, as they can add up to a substantial amount. Once you've reviewed all your input, look at the bottom line. This tally is in cell J96, and also at the top in cell J10. It's looking good. You're coming in about $200 under your $4,000 preliminary estimate. But look again. Filter to all your Y costs. You wanted a side trip to Marseille, but can you do that for about $200? You have nothing in your budget for souvenirs. Is that likely? And you're going to Paris? Do you really expect not to sit at a cafe somewhere? These are the things you need to consider before you complete your budget. Let's say you conclude that you really want to go to Marseille because you don't think you'll be going back to France for a long time. You do some research on costs to get there, and learn that the cost to fly is pretty much the same as taking the train. However, the hotel cost is cheaper. The changes to your budget are highlighted. A return flight to Marseille costs an additional $350. You add in $50 for local airport transportation. The Marseille hotel costs about $150, but that reduces your stay in Paris by $320. You also add in $400 for personal purchases, and decide that the $200 contingency will cover all the other Y costs. With these modifications, you're about $400 over what you wanted to spend. That's not too bad, as the trip is still a year away, and the budget planner lets you know that if you save about $30 a month, the trip will be fully paid for in advance. Alternatively, look for some savings in each line. Perhaps you can find cheaper hotels. Congratulations! You're going to Paris! There's some additional features that I want to point out. The file includes a comparative budget page, where you can do 4 different planning scenarios. For example, maybe you were considering going to Portugal for 10 days instead of Paris for 8. You could put the respective costs on this page. The file also includes detailed instructions for using the budget, and some guidance on how to use Excel or Google Sheets if you have limited familiarity with them. Don't worry, you don't need to use functions if you don't know how. Simple offline calculations work just as well. Throughout the document, you'll see links to relevant travel information, such as global gas prices and tipping recommendations. And I've included a page of helpful travel tips that could save you money and make your trip smoother. Planning a trip should be exciting, not stressful. And one of the best ways to reduce that stress is to know what your trip is likely to cost before you start booking. Whether you're headed on a weekend getaway or a multi-week international adventure, using the travel budget and planning tool will help you more accurately predict your total travel costs, resulting in fewer surprises along the way. Both the Excel and Google Sheets versions are available through the link in the description below. The link to the Google Sheets version is in the Excel file on the welcome page. Simply download and start planning your next trip with confidence. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more practical travel planning tools and destination guides. And let me know in the comments what features you'd like to see added in future versions.